sponsored by the Sunday Dinner Realty Partners, realtors who give back 10% of their commission to nonprofits of their clients' choosing. We're here today with Brooke Jevics from Dégagé to shed some light on what is Dégagé.
Yeah. Dégagé Ministries is a community center for our community members in Grand Rapids facing homelessness and poverty and other challenging difficulties. We see over 500 people every single day in our building. So ultimately we want to be a place where all people can belong. Mm-hmm. As Grand Rapids is a city that is thriving mm-hmm. and is a great place for people to move to and start up small businesses, we want to ensure that Grand Rapids is a city where all people can thrive. Mm-hmm. So at Dégagé Ministries, we reflect the love of Jesus Christ to all who come through our door by offering programs and building relationships that foster dignity and respect.
I love that. Dignity and respect is a very, mm-hmm. very big thing. So what are the numbers? Like, what does homelessness in Grand Rapids look like? Because mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of us, it's so outside of us that it's hard for us to understand. We just see people when we get off the highway asking us for money. We mm-hmm. see a lot of common misconceptions that everyone who's homeless has a drug addiction mm-hmm. or mm-hmm. That they made their bed, pretty much is what I guess I'm getting at. So like, what do the numbers look like in Grand Rapids? Are the numbers rising? With all of the economy coming here, how is that affecting that population? That's a lot of questions.
Those are really good questions.
Yes.
Good questions. Last year, the numbers reported that over 10,500 people used the homeless system in Kent County. So we certainly are seeing that the needs for our agencies and programs and mm-hmm. services is really important. Mm-hmm. What's also really important when we're talking about numbers and addressing what homelessness and poverty really looks like in our city is the really important concept, the epidemic of isolation. Yeah. 3 years ago, our Attorney General made a really big statement that the biggest health crisis of all in our country is not diabetes or heart disease, mm-hmm. but that it is in fact isolation.
That is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. It's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah, and
isn't
all of us, really.
What do you mean isolation?
It's a problem for all of us, but what's really important to remember for the people that we serve at Dégagé or that are facing homelessness is that concept of what you were saying, like the misperceptions and the stigma that they've made their bed. Mm-hmm. They could just get up and pull up their bootstraps and get to work.
Why don't they go to job interviews? They just lay around downtown all day, or
Right, and that's a gigantic misperception. Yeah. Right. That's not at all what's happening. Mm-hmm. We see, like I said earlier, we see over 500 people every single day, and a large percentage of those people are working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when you're working, and you might be working at minimum wage, and we're not here to talk about that, but there is something to be said about if you're making a living wage or if you are not. Mm-hmm. And we all know that we are facing an extremely important topic of affordable housing.
I was just going to say, that's something that like the Grand Rapids area of realtors were always discussing, like how can we, as rent continues to climb, how can we make it so they can control that, not just with like affordable housing, apartments, but just as a whole, like with landlords, all of these things, because they've tried capping rent, and that has proven not to work because there's just it's a very, very, very huge topic, which seems like when you first hear, that's an easy.
It
just
does sound
it.
It does sound like that, doesn't it?
It's far bigger than that.
There's so many parts and pieces to it. It's an enormous conversation. It is certainly not a conversation that's being ignored in our city. It's beautiful to hear that even our friends in realty are talking about it and concerned about it. Mayor Bliss has made a commitment in her most recent State of the City address that is one of her major initiatives going into this new year of addressing and being mindful of. All of us, agencies are at the table talking about it. Churches are at the table talking about it. There's a lot of businesses that it's a corporate value of addressing or supporting. United Way and K-Connect and the Dwelling Place. There's just so many partners that care about it and are passionate about it. But it's certainly not going to be fixed overnight.
No, it's an issue that's bigger than.
It's a big
It takes a lot to wrap your mind around all of
right. And where do people go when, everybody doesn't have an addiction problem. Everybody isn't not working, but if they only have $350 every 2 weeks. Think about what your bills look like. Right. And I realize that our bills could all look less. That we're hopefully living within our means. But just put yourself in someone else's shoes. If it's $400 to $600 or $700 a month that you have, what can you do with that?
Right. There's an app, and whenever I say, there's an app, I can never remember the name, but there's an app that you can do, it's like a stimulus for poverty, and it starts you out getting $1,000 a month. You're facing eviction, you have $1,000 in your bank account, and then things happen.
Yes.
And while you have the option, right, to go to a job, and you get the job making minimum wage for whatever zip code that you put in, and it's amazing to see the choices that you have to make.
Yes. You get there with gas.
Right. And that's the thing I feel like is
do you have children?
Yeah.
Right.
Can you afford childcare? Some people then don't take the job because they're not even making enough to pay for childcare.
Right. Well, and in turn, like if you have kids in school, yes, there's a free and reduced lunches, but what about field trips? What about clothes? How do you protect them?
All of it. Yeah.
I know it's not really why we're here, but
there's some really cool things up in this conversation that we address at Dégagé.
Yeah.
So we're helping people apply for jobs. We're helping people get in the workplace. We're doing soft skills training to help people know how to present themselves in an interview, how to follow up and not follow up. If you have the job, if you're sick, it's important to call in. There's so many things that if it's generational poverty, if you're growing up, their parents didn't not want to take care of them. But if you're at school all day and your parents are working a second or third shift job,
you're not home.
That family's doing the very best they can, but those parents may not be crossing paths enough because they're just trying to put food on the table and keep the heat going, right?
Behavior.
It is. So, so we have those soft skills things to help people learn things that they may not have had the opportunity to learn at home that many of us did, right? We have people who are offered jobs, but then, like you mentioned, it's out in Wyoming or Wyoming Center. How do I get there? Do I have enough gas? Do I even have the car to get me there? We will help people with a 10-day bus pass so they can accept the job and get out to work and back for the first 2 weeks until they get their first paycheck. Then we'll sit down with them and help them budget.
It's 3 weeks.
Sometimes it's 3 weeks.
And
that's a great point. So it varies on what the need is. Some people get a wonderful job opportunity, but you have to have steel toe boots to be on the floor of that factory or in that manufacturer's workplace. Steel toe boots are expensive. How do I get those so that I can accept the job? We will get those boots on your feet so that we can help you get into the workplace. Last year, we gave out over $20,000 worth of bus tickets to get people to job interviews, to their jobs, to go apply for housing, and medical appointments and other very important, crucial things that matter. That it's not that they're just laying around and want nothing to do. They just may not have the means to get to that next step, and just that one small gift can help them achieve that. We gave out over $9,000 worth of steel toe boots to get people in the workplace. And those aren't Red Wing steel toe boots. Those are Payless steel toe boots. So still protective, but I like to comment on that because it's not, don't divide that by $100 thinking that's how many people. I'm saying divide it by 30 or 40 and know that that's how many men and women we helped go get a job that may not have gotten a job simply because they couldn't have gotten steel toe boots on their feet to accept that job. Our resource office is a phenomenal. We had over 18,000 visits to our resource office looking for help with workforce development or getting into the workforce entry, helping people get medical needs met, co-pays met, budgeting so that they can maintain that, bus tickets, apply for housing. Go ahead.
Do you also help with like helping people like get on Medicaid?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll help people.
Yes. Yes.
Yep, we'll help people with those things. We have an ID office. So think about the importance of an ID.
Yeah.
You cannot apply for a job. You can't apply for housing. You cannot register your children to school.
Can't apply for disability.
Well,
You
you
can't
might
apply
not
for
have your
anything.
birth certificate or your social security.
We have tons of people that don't.
Yeah.
We've had people that are born into poverty and their parents were born into poverty. They just simply don't know what they had, at in-home birth,
Right.
and they didn't know what to do next.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
they really just
So they
don't have an
literally-
identity.
Yeah.
They don't have any of that
Wow.
paperwork, and we have to go back and help with that. There are men and women who go into the jail system without an ID or on an alias name, and they come out of the system with no ID or an alias name. If we want them to truly not have recidivism in their life, and we truly want to help them move forward and be good corporate citizens and join us in that, then we need to help give them the tools
because that's like a-
to achieve that, right?
And that's one of I worked at a local hospital, Mercy Health St. Mary's, for years. And as you're looking at, and as a social worker, what are you doing? You're looking to link resources.
Exactly.
Because so much what you can do in acute care is give a patient the resources to go here. And
That's right.
It would, thousands of times are we referring to Dégagé for the ID.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
right,
ID is so
Because you
crucial.
can't qualify for
For
anything,
anything.
No.
if you don't have
That's
the
right.
ID. And just what you said, you are walking down the street because you work third shift and you're getting out and it's 6 a.m. and you get assaulted.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid you get assaulted and your bag with your belongings
And
is
it's
stolen
gone.
and you
They
have
have
nothing.
everything
And
on
it's
their bag.
just and it's
Everything.
It's interesting that you talk about walking down the street. What a lot of people don't know is that you legally have to have an ID on you when you're walking down the
You
street.
get arrested.
Yep.
You can be arrested or significantly fined. There is, of course, a lot of talk about privilege, right
Yeah.
now, as
Oh,
we're
yeah.
discussing and looking at social justices and the needs to wrap around people so that they can be successful. That's another important thing about an ID. So many of us with the look of privilege none of us will ever be stopped and asked,
Right.
do you have an ID on you?
Right.
They will assume that we have our ID in our purse or our pocket or our wallet,
Absolutely.
right? Not everybody we
my mind
serve.
is blown right
Yeah.
now because
Right.
I never even thought of this. I mean, I've always had compassion for homeless people, but honestly, I've been like,
Yeah.
why would you even be homeless in Michigan? Like, I would go to Florida.
Yeah,
You know, like
people do say that. People say that though, right?
But I mean, that is
Yeah. But we
from
go
privilege. Going,
right.
hey,
We go back to
yeah.
that kind of isolation, and
Right.
a lot of people dealing with homelessness either have lost their family, they don't have family anymore, they have burnt a bridge
Yep.
and don't have family to lean on anymore, or they love their family so immensely
That they stay.
that they stay away because they don't want to disappoint them or hurt them. But then you also have a population of people who stay in Michigan and don't go to Florida because this is where their family is.
Yeah.
And if they can't live with them, to know that they're nearby or they have that relationship when they need it, that's what we have so many incredible programs and services, but the number one thing that we could do is love them, is love people and build a relationship. If you've ever read Toxic Charity, and if you haven't, I would encourage you to. Toxic Charity is a great book written by Robert Lupton. And he talks multiple times about several things, and he talks about if you don't have the time or the resources to truly build a relationship with somebody, then donate your money to an agency who does, because that relationship is so critically important. It's something that we haven't talked about yet is our Open Door Women's Center, where we house 45 adult women every night for emergency shelter. And we have women that when they move out of the shelter and move into their own housing, which is a tremendous success, and that's our goal, right? But those women will still come back They'll, not all of them. Some people want to shut that chapter, right, and move on. They don't. That's a trigger point, and it's healthier for them to shut that chapter, and that's okay. But there's tons of people that we've become their family or their friends, and they need that relationship.
And it's a chance for them to give back too.
And we have lots of women that will come, and men that will come back and volunteer and serve because we're such a pivotal moment in their life. We have one lady who did stay with us. Her name is Cindy, and she allows us to share her story. She was homeless for 10 years. Wow. Can you imagine that? Living under the bridge. She talked about, remember, staying under the bridge and watching people walk through the park and just thinking, I will never have that again. Right. Because once you get so deep and you just feel like you're just so buried and you're drowning so much that you just don't, how are you ever going to come out? And she has said that she went from shelter to shelter, even outside of Michigan, all over the place. And she had said, but Dégagé was the first place that actually helped me. Because we don't want to just check you in and get you a bed and check you out and say, do you want to reserve that bed for tonight or not? And good luck to you. I hope you have a good day. See you later. You know, we want to see the whole person. We're going to look you in the eye. Yeah. We want to get to know your name. We want to know what personal barriers are you facing that are blocking you from getting a job or getting a house or moving on independently and being sustainable. And then we want to break those down, right? So it's not that we just have 4 or 5 or 10 programs and, oh, you fit that, you fit this, you don't fit that. We are talking to each person individually and saying, what are your personal problems? Like you said, what other resources do we need to link you to?
Right.
You know, we do it.
Laundry,
we do a ton of things at Dégagé that are beautiful and important.
Shower.
We have you can get a locker. We have over 400 people use us for their mail house for over 400 people. It is huge. If you're getting Social Security or disability or medical information or court information or information about your children.
Or applying for a job.
Or applying for a job. Or for housing. You have to have an address.
Yeah.
Showers are so critically important. I mean, personal hygiene sets you up for success or not, oftentimes, right? It gives you confidence and self-esteem. We are very proud to have private showers at Dégagé.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yes.
I always am quick to say a shower is more dignified than no shower. But it is such a gift to give a private shower to people. Yep. You know, when you're living on the streets or from bouncing around from warming center to warming center and maybe popping into the library or different places, to be able to walk in and shut the door and have that private, quiet time for 15 minutes.
There's no quiet time.
No, that's a mental health issue, right? It would be a mental health issue for us.
Absolutely.
And
the whole thing's a mental health issue.
It all is, isn't it? Isn't it?
Even if you don't start with a mental health issue, like you said, it could just be you.
You're absolutely correct. Think about how that life creates anxiety, depression, and triggers other things.
Just
absolutely trauma.
Whether experienced or second.
That's exactly right, though. We are dealing with people like you and I, many of whom have had successful lives, and a tragedy happened. You know, a divorce or a broken family can create it. Can put somebody into poverty or facing homelessness, a huge medical issue. You know, if you ended up with gigantic bills or something, you know, you could end up choosing if you're paying those bills or paying rent. Huge accidents. There's so many things. They say somewhere between 70 and 75% of people facing homelessness are facing mental health. But to your point,
if they weren't before, they are now.
A lot of people, they may eventually because the trauma of it. You know, they say, I can't remember who said this, but it's been proven that dealing with homelessness is the next most scary thing to dealing with death. So, I mean, because you just don't know what's going to happen next. And to think about your brain, to look at the scientific issues of how your brain processes from the day. You know, we have the privilege of good sleep, nutrition, quiet time, our mental health time, whatever our needs are, right? we can just go to our car and get ourselves to the grocery store if we need to. We don't have to look up what bus can get me here at this time.
Yeah.
Oh, but I have to go
I'm
see.
even lazier than that.
I have to go.
order.
Right? How many of us are now on shift and getting our stuff delivered
It's
delivered to our front door? What a gift for us, right? Where there's people that have to figure it out, like. My probation officer, if you have one, needs to see me at this time, and that's the only time the bus is going to get me to go get some groceries for my children. This job place is going to offer me a job, but that's 30 minutes after this. I have to, all that stuff, but then yet they
Oh my
still.
gosh. I was just in Colorado, and we had no car, and we were using the bus system, which literally is probably like a 5-mile town there and back. We couldn't figure it out, and we're two professional women out there, and we could not figure it out. We were constantly late. I mean, we were freezing.
So when people are late for their job
yeah.
interviews, or for a job, or to apply for housing, or for another appointment, and people are like, "Why are you late again?" Well, there's so many elements of their day-to-day life that we don't have to think through,
that they can't control,
and that they cannot control, and then think on top of it all. They have to think about when are they going to get their next meal? Can they squeeze in their? Can they squeeze in at being at Dégagé or another place that's offering a meal?
At this specific time.
And how to get there in that time frame that they can offer that meal, and then still go in and check in at this shelter by the time they have to.
And that's a big thing.
And being in line.
The checking in is huge. So
and being in line enough to get a bed.
Early enough to get one.
It's like 5 o'clock. It's not 5. It's early. It's really early. So it's not like it's starting to get dark.
No, they have to do that while staff is available and people are available to do those intakes and to assign people up and to help people get situated.
One question sorry, I'm like totally interrupting. So
no, it's okay.
If you want. One question I was wondering, because you have talked about love. Is it all people?
Yes.
Like truly all people, all backgrounds.
Yes.
All sexual orientations.
Yes.
So Dégagé is a safe.
It is a safe place for all people. We are a ministry. We take the responsibility of reflecting the love of Christ, but we're not asking anybody at the door, where do you go to church? Or are you going to partake in this Bible study or devotion? You come in the door and we're going to take care of your needs.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Period.
I'm protective.
No, I am too.
It's a good
Sometimes
question.
I wonder about because I've heard other organizations that make them pray, and I just think, well, that's. I mean, it's just very insensitive to other cultures and religions.
Right.
And
That's we'll take care of you if.
I know that, right.
Yeah.
And that's, I know that they most likely are coming from a good
Oh,
place in their heart, trying.
And I don't mean that to offend
No, I know
anyone.
I know you're not. I know that people are, but no, we're looking at it like, we're not even asking if you're homeless, to be quite frank. We have people, the dwelling place has a lot of low-income properties around us.
Yeah.
And again, I go back to isolation, and everyone needs a place to belong. If you're living in your little apartment, but you're by yourself, is that healthy for that person to be there all day and all night long, always by themselves? Right. What a blessing to have a home, and we value that, and we're behind that. We're not saying anything against, but we have several of the residents that have properties like that still come into our dining room. Our dining room, we haven't talked about yet, is our first floor of our building, where we served over 60,000 meals last year.
Wow.
But it is also a community center, a place where people can come. They can just have a cup of coffee if they want, right? So that there's fellowship, and they can be and it's their place of community and a place to feel where they belong.
Yeah, my dad sometimes, so I didn't shed light on this, but my brother's homeless, but my dad will go down there and have a cup of coffee with him.
That's beautiful.
And then he knows that he can meet him at this time.
That's beautiful. And then your brother knows he is still valued and still loved, and we care about you. You're not forgotten. We want to be a part of your life. That's beautiful. That's so fantastic. One other thing that I think is important for people to know about Dégagé Ministries that we haven't talked about is we do have small fees for a lot of things. Not for everything. We're never going to charge somebody to meet with an advocate to help you find a job or a house. You don't get charged for showers. And they're low cost. They're not covering the cost of the item. It's 25 cents for a cup of coffee.
I give
It's
my brother
50
the
cents.
coffee.
It's 50 cents for eggs and toast. $2 for a huge, complete nutritional meal. $2 for a whole week of using your locker. But we have over 60 jobs every day. We have a job program where the people we serve can choose to sign up for a job or not and earn a Dégagé voucher.
Jobs. So
and volunteer
my brother
jobs.
teaches like kind of like an art class, I think.
That's so great.
Yeah, and
that's great.
They perfect enough responsibility for him where he has meaning. But
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Because like I talked about Robert Lupton, who wrote Toxic Charity, one of the other things he says is nobody in this world is too poor. They have nothing to give.
Exactly.
And it's so important. I mean, obviously what he's talking about is God has blessed all of us with gifts and talents, and we have value as human beings, right? So one gentleman whose story is so fantastic, he's in a motorized wheelchair, and there's a lot of chores he can't do. He can't stand on his legs to sweep the floors or mop, or it's hard for him to take out huge heavy bags of trash. But what he can do is he can wheel into the kitchen after breakfast or dinner, and he will wheel up to the grill, and he can pull himself up on the grill and hold onto the grill with one hand, and he can scrub that grill down and earn a voucher. So he's earned some dollars to spend, and so that gives them purpose.
Yeah.
It keeps us from being pride. Yes. Instead of it being us versus them, we're all making this ministry. It creates community, and that we're all one team making this ministry effective and happen.
Home. It takes everyone in the home.
It takes everybody, right? You're totally right. And then when they have that value, it empowers them with choice.
Yeah.
Do you want a haircut? We have a state certified hair salon where people can get their hair cut or their beards trimmed. Do you need to rent a lacquer? They're in 25-cent increments, so perhaps they want to save that and get coffee throughout the day. There's multitudes of ways for them to do that, but then they're part of the ministry. They're using their gifts and talents. They have something to be proud of that they did for the day, and how they invested in the ministry, and they have some dollars that they can choose how they want to use that.
That's amazing. You are really on the ground, front line, helping really such an at-risk population.
Yeah, thank you.
And that is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
I feel like
it's an honor.
I
could too. It's an honor to go to work every day. The people we serve are so incredibly beautiful and kind and generous.
You see that.
They are hard workers. They want to be with their family. They're also givers. They want to give back. Some people will save their vouchers or go up to the coffee counter and buy a cup of coffee and pay it forward with their voucher.
That's awesome.
They totally will. They'll say, now I want you to buy everybody else who comes up until my voucher is used. Please bless the next few people with a cup of coffee.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That makes me,
It's hundreds of beautiful people that are nothing like the misperceptions and the stigmas that have unfortunately built over time. Of course they have challenges, but which one of us do not have some challenges?
At the end of the day, we are all broken.
We're all broken somewhere. We really are. And we all desire relationship and love and opportunity to thrive. And those are things, I'm going to get choked up now. Those are gifts that we want, that we want to give to people every single day.
Are lucky. We're
so lucky.
Where we were born. You know,
we're so blessed beyond measure, and we have so much to offer and give to other people to share those blessings and to bless somebody else's life.
Right.
So how do someone like us share the love and
there are so many awesome ways to get involved with the community at large. But certainly, I'm here to talk about Dégagé Ministries today. So through Dégagé Ministries, it takes 30 volunteers to join staff every single day to operate. So you can come and serve coffee. And you may be serving right alongside a man or woman that we serve later in the day who's volunteering to help that morning. To come in and help prepare the meals, to serve the meals. We don't just serve out trays at the counter, we take orders. We always have options to empower people with choice.
I love that.
And it gives us an opportunity to ask that person's name, and then they go sit down and we serve it like restaurant service. So we come and we call their name and we serve it, and that gives us an opportunity to say, Ashley, I hope that you have a beautiful day today. Enjoy your meal. You know, just to build that relationship and be intentional with that with serving somebody. Our hygiene desk, our mail service, helping come in and help with the women in the evening, help them with the laundry and with any issues that they may have during the day, helping them get into their lockers. you can also always come in and be a friend.
Yeah.
You don't have to sign up to
Yeah.
be a volunteer. Come on in during our morning hours and come and grab a cup of coffee and sit down and just talk to people and be a
So,
friend. Go ahead.
Like, well, sorry to interrupt you, but like on your website, is there a place that it talks about your morning hours and who to contact?
Our volunteer coordinator's name is Trevor.
Trevor, okay.
And you can find him on our website at dégagéministries.org.
Okay.
And
He's
ask
super easy
him.
to work with.
Super easy. He's super easy to work with. If there's not a scheduled time that fits your life perfect, maybe you have a calling to start a knitting club or a sewing club or a book club. You can also come into Dégagé and want to bless people a multitude of ways. Maybe you want to get to know a few women and take them to an event downtown. Civic Theater is always really generous and lets people come in to see rehearsals for shows. If you love theater and you want to be that and take a group of women or men and women down to see a show, you're welcome to do that. And also on our website are very easy ways to give. And what's so amazing that I'd love to share is a gift of $1. It can touch 4 people's lives.
Cup of coffee, 4 people, right there.
Yeah, you can give the gift of a warm cup of coffee to 4 people one morning with a gift of $1. You can become a monthly donor at $1, $5, $30, $100. $30 takes care of one woman for a night in the Open Door Women's Center. It costs us $30 per woman per night. There's just a multitude of ways that you can support or get involved. Following this show, you can have the opportunity to tune into Wood Radio, Wood 1300 AM and FM. Our Wood Radio Day of Hope will be coming up on February 7th, where they come into our dining room and air all morning. So from 5 a.m. to noon, you will hear tons of beautiful stories. They will have men and women that we're serving. Men and women we're serving will be coming on and talking about their lives, talking about their hopes and their dreams, how Dégagé impacts their lives, and how we can come alongside as a community to help them. You'll hear from volunteers. You'll hear from other donors. So this is beautiful timing. I really encourage everybody to join us at Wood Radio on February 7th to hear more beautiful stories straight from the people that we serve and how you can get involved and engage. That'll be a great day to call in and make a small gift. Or a large gift, whatever works for you.
I can put a reminder of that.
But tune in and get involved and there's a multitude of ways that you'll see lots of opportunities on our website. Or you can always call Dégagé Ministries and ask for me, Brooke. I'm always happy to meet somebody for coffee, for lunch, for nothing, and talk about what is your life look? What are your passions?
Right.
But there's so much we're doing: workforce, shelter, food, hygiene. The idea, there's so much that most we can find a way to get people plugged in that really aligns to your life.
Well, we always say that it's not just giving it, but it's time, treasure, and talent. So all 3 of those things, and everyone has a talent. Maybe your passion is crafting. You could just go and teach people how to knit. I mean, it's just
you
that like
you can set up a fun craft party.
Yeah, it's just that fun way of.
Yeah. Come make Valentine crafts with people that we serve.
Yeah. Even coloring bags for kids, food basket for kids, receive anything.
Kids groups can make locker tags that we can put on people's lockers to remind them that you are beautifully made. You belong and you are loved and you are beautifully made, and we're praying for you. We're thinking of you. Don't forget how awesome you are. There's so many cool ways that you can get involved and touch someone's life. So,
well, thank you so much for
it was an honor
for me.
Thank you for having
amazing work.
A big part of this is to stomp out stigma and the thoughts on different things around the community. And wow, you opened my eyes because
thank you.
There's passion, but then there's knowing what's actually going on.
It's so true.
And the ID was a very, with my brother, he doesn't want to have an ID, and my brother's half Mexican, so I'm always scared he's gonna get, taken away if he doesn't have any identification. I mean, it terrifies me.
And some people are scared of it. There's reasons why some people are scared of it, right? There's, again, you're talking about people with mental health. It might be scary that they think somebody could track me down
Yeah.
from that, and they've been threatened. They've experienced so much trauma, and they're horrified inside. They have things to be scared of that we might not be able to understand or see. We just have to extend grace.
Yeah,
we
and
have to have
open
places.
your mind.
You have to open your mind. You
the
totally
judgment cannot be there. Because
we can't.
You can't.
We can't because we can't completely understand.
You can't.
And we have to have places like Dégagé where people can go and be.
Yep.
Right? And just be and be safe and be
Safe.
heard
Safe.
and know that there are people there that when you're ready can get you to a better place or success. And what you think, what is successful for you.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not telling you that what is successful for you.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be a painter, that's fine. What's successful for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to get a part-time job, let's go find that for you then. You know, that's okay. We're not going to judge that.
Yeah.
We just what is successful for you and let's get you there.
And the power of letting them be the experts in
Yeah.
their own life.
Of their own life.
Alongside them as they figure it
Amen.
out.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolute truth. Yeah.
Great.
So I'm just so honored to be here today, and I thank you for your hearts and even just wanting to be here and ask the questions
Yeah,
and get to
it's
know and
important.
share it.
It's
So
important.
it is important. We're just really grateful to share our story and be
Thank
here with you today.
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mindful. See you next time.